Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another installment of Scout Selections here for Wednesday, January 15th. Before we get into today's play today, a quick recap of what happened yesterday. We ended up picking up a loss in a player prop with Giannis Antetokounmpo over 17.5 rebounds and assists. Unfortunately, the Bucks blew out the Knicks once again, and Giannis only played 21 minutes. He had, I believe it was 8 rebounds and 3 assists at the half. He finished with 9 and 4, so he finished with a total of 13. And he also had 37 points in 21 minutes, and then he got pulled in the middle of the third quarter because they're already up 30. It happens, comes with the territory, but if Giannis was able to play a decent amount, then he would have easily gotten there, as he was on pace for about 20-something by the half. But either or, I picked up a loss there. But for today's play there, we are going to be sticking with the NBA. I know that it's been a pretty bad run lately, but I like this play a lot, and hopefully it'll bounce us out of this current slump. And the play that is going to be a matchup between the Indiana Pacers and the Minnesota Timberwolves, which will be taking place at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And we like the Indiana Pacers minus 2.5, which is available on DraftKings at minus 112. Now, when you look at both teams here, the Pacers have definitely been the much better team by far. They're in second in the Central Division. They're 25-15. Meanwhile, the Timberwolves are 15-24. They've really not played well throughout the entire season. Timberwolves also at home are 6-12 straight up, and if you've looked at their numbers against the spread, the Timberwolves are also 6-12 against. The Timberwolves are also just awful on at home against the spread. They've been really bad, and I think that just based on that, they shouldn't be able to cover this very, very small number. According to team rankings, which I am using, the Timberwolves are actually the worst home team in the entire league, according to the betting markets, as they are 5-12-1 against the spread at home. So overall, just not a good home team at all, according to the betting markets. And in this game, with Towns, who's already missed the last 14 games, he is currently a game-time decision. But I think it's safe to say he will probably not play once again. I don't really see the point of rushing him back when, honestly, your team's just not that good. He's a game-time decision. He hasn't played since December 13th. He's dealing with a left knee sprain, and he also has been dealing with an illness, so I would not be surprised to see him not play in this game. Meanwhile, the Pacers have their own injury issue with Domantas Sabonis, as he is questionable with a knee injury. However, the knee issue has been bugging him for the last couple of games, and he has still played, and the team does not expect him to miss any time due to the injury. And he also played in the team's last game, and he had 10 points and 16 rebounds in 32 minutes. He's played at least 30 minutes in pretty much every game this season, so the injury hasn't really been that concerning, but that is something that is worth keeping in mind. The Pacers, even though they are 9-10 away from home, they are 10-9 against the spread on the road, so they've been pretty profitable so far away from home. But at the same point, it's worth mentioning that the Pacers are finally getting back to full strength, despite the Sabonis injury, which could potentially keep him out. I doubt it, though. You finally had the return of Malcolm Brogdon, who did return for the last game against the 76ers, as he ended up recording 21 points, and he played, I believe it was 31 minutes or so, if I'm not mistaken. He played 34 minutes. He had 21 points, 9 assists, and 7 rebounds. And that was his first game in roughly 2 weeks, so he had showed no signs of rust whatsoever, and he put up a very solid stat line. With Oladipo out of the lineup, Brogdon is probably the best player on the entire roster, and now that he's finally back after he got paid a massive contract during the offseason, I think he will continue to play well along with the Pacers, as they will look for another win on the road against the worst home team in the betting markets in the entire NBA. Plus, it is worth mentioning the Pacers have won 3 of their last 4 games, 2 of those games being on the road. I know they played the Hornets and the Bulls. Both teams are not great, but neither are the Timberwolves, and they were still able to take care of business on the road. Meanwhile, Minnesota has lost 3 of its last 4. They lost to Memphis on the road by 7. They lost to Houston on the road by 30, and they lost at home to Oklahoma City by 13. I'm just a bit concerned with the Timberwolves in this spot. They're just not a good home team. Plus, for Oklahoma City in that matchup, they also gave up 20 rebounds to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So I'm a bit concerned with the Timberwolves' rebounding ability with Towns out of the lineup. If you've looked at the numbers of that matchup, the Thunder recorded 14 more rebounds, and with Miles Turner and Sabonis in the lineup, I would expect to see the same kind of results, where the Pacers should dominate on the boards and they should be able to create a ton of second chance opportunities, which will be enough for the Pacers to cover this number. So overall, I just think the spread's too short. I think if Sabonis is going to be playing, and if Towns is not, this line should climb once again to roughly 4 or even higher. So I'll gamble on that. Even if Towns does play, though, the Timberwolves still just aren't a good team, and their guards are very underwhelming. I think Brogdon should have a good game regardless. But the play of the day, once again, will be on the Indiana Pacers, -2.5, which is available on DraftKings at -112. Other than that, though, looking at the leans for today's card, a lean to Boston. The Celtics have been bet down from -10 to -9. Overall, Detroit, I know Tatum's not going to play for Boston tonight, but Detroit's terrible. This team I've mentioned before, and I faded them a couple weeks ago, they really just have looked awful, and Blake Griffin being out of the lineup still, probably for the rest of the year, is going to hurt them moving forward. They're just not a good team, and Boston at home at TD Garden is one of the best home court advantages in all of basketball. Lean to the Celtics in that one. I think they'll win by double digits. Other than that, what else do I like here? I'm tempted to take the Nets +7, but I'm a bit concerned with the second night of a back-to-back. Philly, without Embiid, has not been the same team. Brooklyn has Kyrie back. I know they lost to Utah yesterday. The game was pretty close. Utah's also been probably the hottest team in basketball for the last 2 weeks. But as a whole, I'll lean to Brooklyn there. I just think Philly is going to win the game, but I think that they won't win by a big enough margin. Especially, you have the likes of Horford and Simmons. I'm still concerned with Simmons and his inability to shoot. They can't really space the floor well. Brooklyn with Kyrie, I just think that they're going to score enough points to cover this number. Do I think they'll win? No. But I think the Nets should lose by 5 or so. Lean to the Nets plus the points. Other than that, lean to Toronto plus the 1.5 against Oklahoma City. I know Oklahoma City's been really good lately, but Toronto's finally getting healthy, and I think this team is one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. You have Siakam was finally back. Marc Gasol's expected to make his return tonight. Powell's back in the lineup. You still have Kyle Lowry who's healthy. I'm not saying Oklahoma City is a bad team. I'm just saying that when everyone is at full strength, Toronto has a significantly more talented team, and I think Toronto should take care of business. Lean to the Raptors on that one. Other than that, what do I like here? I'm going to lean to the Lakers, of course. I'll take them at -9.5. A lot of it depends on whether or not Anthony Davis will play. I actually wrote an article about this game for Winners and Wonders. If you want to check that out, you can. But overall, Orlando's really bad on the road. Lakers, even without LeBron or Anthony Davis, they've still been rolling. I think LeBron's going to play, but I would not be surprised to see Anthony Davis sit out once again. Overall, I just think the Lakers have too much firepower. They've won 9 straight. I wouldn't go against them. Excuse me. And I think the Lakers should be able to get the job done. So for me, lean to the Lakers on that one. Now, for college basketball, looking at today's card, I'm going to lean to Kentucky. I'm going to take the bait with the road team in conference play here. South Carolina's lost 3 straight. Kentucky's actually looked pretty good. I know that they have lost a couple of times this season, so Kentucky's probably not going to make a deep run in March Madness. Then again, with Duke losing yesterday, I don't think really any team is safe. I think this could be one of the crazier March Madnesses we've ever seen. But Kentucky, they do what they do in the sense that they beat up on the bad teams and they tend to lose to the really good teams. South Carolina's just not a good team, so I'll lean to Kentucky. I think they will win this game by double digits. Lean to the Wildcats in that one. Other than that, what else do I like here? I'm going to lean to Georgetown -3 against Creighton. Georgetown, really good at home. We've seen what conference play has done to the main conferences and how pretty much the home team wins almost every time. Biggest case in the Big Ten. Big Ten, if you're betting on road teams, it's a complete waste of time. But Georgetown in the Big East actually looked pretty good at home. Creighton, I know that they're really good in Omaha. They're not really good on the road, and the fact that an unranked team is favored over a ranked team tells me all I need to know. Lean to Georgetown -3 on that one. Other than that, though, looking at the rest of the card, not really a big fan of anything else. Yeah, I think that's pretty much going to do it for today's video. Play of the day, once again, will be on the Indiana Pacers -2.5, which is available on DraftKings at -112. That's going to be the installment of Scott Selections here for Wednesday, January 15th. Good luck to all of you and your respective bets today. Bye, everyone.